topic, though, really isn't about only Dick Vitale. What about any other sportscast out there who's a color commentator? Do they have the right to come out and say something like the Big Ten, Northwestern doesn't belong in a conference like the Big Ten?
Sure. I have no problems with that. A newspaper writer can write a column saying the most outlandish things, and it's okay. But when somebody goes on television and is more widely exposed, that it's not okay. I don't see the difference. When you're in the job of analyzing sports, you should be able to do it and without having to worry about backlash from the public and being criticized by coaches on a national scale. And I mean, when Peter Vesey writes a column in USA Today, it's the same thing as Dick Vitale going on and saying that something like that on television. It's exactly the same in my mind. It's analysis.
So are people going to believe him? Josh, you said that Dick Vitale is a cartoon character. Is he believable now that he's made a comment on such a serious topic?
I think he's still believable because he still has the respect. If you kind of tune out some of his other, extracurricular type things that he says about, Jim Boeheim or whatever, I think, it's okay. He still knows his game, and people still want to hear that. And there's probably some more people who turn down the sound on his games.
Well, whatever we think or whatever anybody else thinks, Dickie V will still be out there entertaining a lot of basketball fans. Well, coming up next, we're going to talk about some professional basketball players going into the Olympic Games. Is that right or not? You'll find out after this.
You can save makes a difference. Or the amount your whole neighborhood can save. Or even your whole town. But when you see how much gas America can save every day, when we all drive just 5 miles per hour slower, it's easy to see how the little bit you can do makes a lot of difference. President Bush hopes you'll do your part. Drive smart.
You too can be a part of UUTV. For more information, call 443-2041.
Hi, I'm Mike Farrell. You know, things we do without thinking have an effect on friends like Jason. Would you like a free booklet on how to be more caring toward animals? Send for it today and the world will be a little better for all of us. Write PETA, P-E-T-A, Washington, D.C. 20015. Thanks.
Wake up, all teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say.
The power of teaching.
World won't get no better if we're just
the power to wake up young minds. The power to wake up the world. Teachers have that power. Reach for the power. Teach. I'm Edward James Olmos, and we're recruiting new teachers. Call 1-800-45-TEACH.
UUTV. TV to you.
TV to you. Okay, SU Sportsrap is part of the UUTV TV to you home. Sports Illustrated this past week passed out an issue right here, and on the cover it has Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Michael Jordan, Karl Malone, and Magic Johnson, and this could be our Olympic team for the 1992 Olympic Games. Now, when the U.S. puts out a team like this on the court, can anyone beat us? And why in the world would the International Olympic Federation let us do that, Josh?
Don't worry about it, because it's not going to be those 5 guys, and they also didn't give it away. You had to put down your $275 to get a copy of that one. But I think it all has to do with losing. It's W's and L's. That's what it's completely about. Nobody had a problem when Team USA took the gold medal in Los Angeles in '84. Nobody had a problem in Madrid, Spain. Team USA and Lute Olson, his guys took the gold medal at the World Championships. Everybody had a problem, though, 1988, when the Team USA lost, and then again the Goodwill Games and the World Championships when the team took 3rd. I think those NBA players I don't think are going to want to play, to be honest with you. unless, and in the article it also points out, unless there's some material reward. Patriotism is great. Patrick Ewing already has a gold medal. Michael Jordan already has a gold medal. Charles Barkley didn't get a gold medal because he and Bobby Knight couldn't see eye to eye in 1984. But I don't think those guys are going to want to put their bodies on the line, the chance of being injured, especially now with the escalating salaries in the NBA.
I don't think they would have posed for that picture if they didn't have some desire to do it, number one. And number two, I don't think you're hearing any complaints from any international organizations because, as we all know, the ratings, the television ratings for the Olympics have not been spectacular the past 2 Olympics. And I think a lot more Americans, who are the ones who have the dollars in this world at this point, will watch the Olympics if they have the NBA guys playing. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm psyched already seeing those guys just on the cover wearing the uniforms. And I think a lot more people will be watching the Olympics knowing this fact, knowing that NBA players could be playing.
But you don't think college basketball players like Stacey Augmon, Kenny Anderson, you know, those guys can get the crowds going to watch?
That's not a news story, though. This is a story, the fact that these guys are going to be playing. And that'll be a continuing story that we'll be following until the Olympics.
Actually, the article spoke of how they were going to split it up between pros and the colleges, something like a 9-3 split or a 10-2 split. So we could conceivably see Billy Owens on the team in 1992, you know, if he, you know.
Well, Billy Owens might be a professional player by then, though.
Still, we might see him on the team either way.
You're such a homer. So when guys like this go on the team, though, what happens to the world outlook on the U.S.? I mean, are people going to look down on America, the U.S. saying, oh, they just don't want to lose, that's what they're scared of losing?
I don't think so. I don't think so, but I don't think, I'm not even sure. I mean, everybody's talking about, I mean, I know Al McGuire's gone on record in the article saying that he doesn't think an all-star team of any kind can win the game, and he may be right if you watch the NBA all-star game and guys turning the ball over and it was completely sloppy, and that may be true. The Russian national team, although they were without their 2 Lithuanian stars in Maršalaitis and Sabonis, took a tour of the NCAA programs prior to the season, including against SU. They lost every single game. So I'm not sure whether an all-star team of any level, college players, pro players, are going to be able to beat the Russians. Those guys play together, and also the other Eastern blocs. Those guys play together on a daily basis. I'm not real sure if they can win.
But we're not dealing with just any all-star team here. We're dealing, look at these guys. I mean, this is unbelievable. We're dealing with here. We're not dealing with the Russian team. And, I mean, Yugoslavia gets to have their pros on there. What do those guys do in Yugoslavia that play on the team? They are basketball players. That is what they do.
Okay, well, there's no money in the Olympics, but there is money in all professional sports, and one professional sport that's spewing out money, it seems like right now, is baseball. Baseball, spring training, catchers and pitchers report to spring training in a week or so, and baseball's just around the corner, and have you seen some of the outlandish figures, the salaries? Now, what's going on here? Roger Clemens getting $5.3 million a year?
There's some with, it's a different thing when Roger Clemens makes more money than the President of the United States than when, say, Ed Romero makes more money than the President of the United States, or some of these utility infielders that are making $500,000. I think Kevin Romine of the Boston Red Sox is making like $350,000 when he's just going to be sitting in the pines or whatever. I think that the salaries are to a point where they're just escalating and they're escalating. That Roger Clemens, now he's the #1, the highest paid player in the league. Next, 2 years from now, he may not even be in the top 20, as we've seen with the case of Kirby Puckett, the league's first $3 million, a year player.
So what was your reaction when you saw that Roger Clemens was going to get $5.3 million a year?
Wow. Yeah, I believe somebody figured it out and equated it to $1,000 a pitch every time he throws a pitch in a game. That's a lot of money to throw a ball. I mean, he has a lot of talent and everything, but I'm not sure whether, if the salaries keep escalating, if there's ever going to be a limit. I think the case of the Pittsburgh Pirates is also something where they're not really willing to spend a lot of money. I mean, they had 3 of their top stars go to arbitration. Only one of them won, and that was Doug Draback, who broke the $3 million mark in arbitration this past week. These other 2 guys, Bonilla and Bonds, are upset because they lost and are now stuck at $2.4 and $2.3 million.
What a shame.
And that is going to represent a problem with Pittsburgh because they're in one of the league's smaller markets. They don't get the lucrative TV deals, so they can't spend as much on these players as, say, the New York Yankees, which gets a bundle of bucks from MSG and WPIX.
The question is, are they worth it, or is anyone in this
I don't know. I mean, the new kids on the block are each making $12 million this year, and nobody's complaining. Jack Nicholson made $40 million for Batman. Nobody complains. Now Roger Clemens makes $5 million a year, and people are complaining. So I think you have to look at the entertainment industry as a whole and consider sports a part of it, and then say, is anybody worth that?
I just think that how Roger Clemens making more money than everyday players. You pay some guy $5 million a year to pitch every 5 days. I think that Jose Canseco, because he's going to play 150, 160 games a year, barring any traffic accidents or something like that. He's going to be there. He's going to supply you the 35 home runs. He's going to supply you the 120 RBIs. But then again, Roger Clemens, is going to win 20 to 25. But Clemens only pitches every 5 days is the case now.
Pitching and interior defense wins baseball games, though. So you got to look at he's a pitcher. He's a star. His ERA was extremely low. I think it was around 1.5. He won 20+ games for the Boston Red Sox. And I think pitchers, it's kind of strange. I mean, everyday ball players hit a lot of home runs. They play 160 games, and pitchers come in every 5 days. But I think since pitching wins baseball games, those guys deserve similar figures in terms of money.
Do you agree?
I agree. I think if a team feels a player is their most valuable player, if he's the reason why they're winning baseball games, pay him what you want to pay him. I don't think you can totally blame the players here or the agents or television. The owners are the ones that are actually shelling out the money. They have no right to complain because they're paying the guys that, and they obviously feel that they're worth it. The owners are the ones that had collusion. The owners are the ones that are paying now.
Okay.
But my problem isn't as much with Roger Clemens. It's just you're paying $100,000 as the minimum salary. That's for just guys who are coming up from the minor leagues, for a cup of coffee who are awful anyways. That's ridiculous.
I think 2-1. I think we've got 2-1 decision here that 2 are against all the players getting a lot of money, and 1 seems to feel that it's okay. I have no opinion. I don't know. All I know is I wish I had the $5.3 million. Well, coming up next is Parting Rap, so stay with us.
From Marillion. It's Shane. This is Randy from front. I'm the one It's Tuesday, Central New York's only alternative music video show. Watch the latest alternative music videos and interviews. Watch on UUTV, Sundays at 9, Tuesdays at 8, and Wednesdays at 9. It's Tuesday. Also, Fridays at 8 on Cable Vision, Channel 7.
We're here to roast the parents of buckling up. 2 guys who've lost more limbs than a tree surgeon, Vince and Larry.
I love these guys. They remind me of my husband. Always broken in a dead-end job.
By getting people to buckle up, they've saved thousands of lives. On the job, what's the first thing that goes through their heads? The steering wheel!
Vince and Larry, tell me, how do you want your coffee? Regular or decapitated?
Everybody give them a hand.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Parting Rap time, whatever's on your mind, 10 seconds or less, go.
Wake Forest, can you believe it? Maybe the surprise team in the NCAA this year. Yesterday, or actually Saturday, they defeated Duke, I believe. So,
Josh?
Good winter for Syracuse sports overall, pretty much. Syracuse University wrestling team, 2 weeks until the Eastern Championships. The Orangemen are looking real good. They won 7 straight and are beating teams at about 15 to 16 points, which is sure as a lot in wrestling.
Chuck Daly will be coaching the Olympic team no matter who is on it. He's an excellent choice. He knows how to deal with egos. He can coach defense. He's been in the league a long time, knows the college game, knows the pro game. Excellent choice.
Well, that'll do it for this edition of Sports Rap. Join us next week when Barry Steiner hopefully will be back from his illness. So join us next week, and until then, take care. Goodbye.